Here's more wrestling news for February 26, 2023, and we're kicking off with WWE, and earlier this week it was reported that Cameron Grimes' career is in limbo as he's finished with NXT, but WWE has no concrete plans for him on the main roster. While Grimes has appeared on Raw once before, WWE doesn't want to move him to the main roster without a creative idea, and he's not the only star we could soon see on Raw or SmackDown. PW Insider reports that Zoe Starks has been working several main roster dark matches as of late, and that the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion has also been attending main roster house shows as well. It's reported that WWE wants to see how Starks fares in front of crowds much larger than what she's used to in NXT, and if she does thrive with more eyes on her, a call-up could be imminent. It's added that Pretty Deadly, who until last December were the NXT Tag Team Champions, have also been given a looking for a main roster call-up and are impressing all the right people backstage. WWE is always looking for talent for the main roster, and that could be Grimes, Stark, or Pretty Deadly next. And who are you most excited to see on the main roster? At Impact Wrestling's No Surrender, Mickie James retained her Knockouts title against Masha Slamovich and used a unique tactic with her way with the Russian. In one part of the match, Slamovich licked Mickie James's face and rolled her tongue against her cheeks, and Mickie responded by biting her opponent's tongue, causing the challenger to scream and panic in pain. Biting any part of your opponent, never mind their tongue, is hardly the act of a babyface, but on Twitter, James said she is not ashamed by what she did. James told Slamovich, "Don't stick it out unless you're willing to lose it, sugar," and ultimately, James's strategy would be a successful one, and she'd retain her title with a roll-up. Mickie James has been on a roll since her last rodeo, and whoever challenges the Knockouts champion next would be wise to keep their tongue to themselves in their title match. This month, the XFL kicked off for the third time, with this iteration of the league now being run by The Rock and his production partner Danny Garcia. The Rock hopes to make this league a huge success after poor ratings and COVID sunk Vince McMahon's first and second attempts at the world of football, but there has been some recent revelations about pay. This week, ESPN's Kevin Seifert reported that players were offered a weekly salary of $5,000, along with a $1,000 bonus for each triumph. With additional potential bonuses factored in, the average player's earnings were estimated to be around $60,000 from training to the season's end, which on the surface seems like a lot of money. However, when you consider this wage with the NFL, who make $12,000 a week and have a minimum salary of $750,000 this season, it's clear that the XFL stars are staggeringly underpaid. In a game like professional football, where career-ending injuries could happen at any time in any game, it's important that young athletes are paid to reflect the risks they put themselves into, but the payout from the XFL is leaving a lot to be desired. Back in the ring and at WrestleMania 39, Roman Reigns will put his undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the line against Cody Rhodes, but this is hardly the match WWE wanted. Initially, WWE had hoped on The Rock making his in-ring return this April, and though that isn't happening, the Great One has said that he is open for a match in the future. One man who knows The Rock and WWE well is Brian Gewirtz, the former WWE head writer who is now part of $7 Promotion, and in an interview with Wrestling Inc. said that his team are ready to go at a moment's notice if The Rock decides to wrestle again. "All I know is if I get a call saying, 'Hey, I'm going to Mania, I'll see you there,' I'm ready to hop on a plane and go to Mania." I know that's not a well-detailed, documented answer, but that's the case because that could happen at any time, whether it's this one, down the road, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows? The Rock may have said that he is open to a match in the future, but with his reason for not competing this year being that he didn't think he was in ring shape, getting to that level will only be harder as the Great One gets older. Whether The Rock wrestles again, that's ultimately something that the Brahma Bull will know for sure, but if he ever does step in the ring, then his production team will be fully behind him. If you follow Ryback on Twitter, you'll know that the former WWE superstar, who has his own self-help book all about positivity, is far from a positive person. From accusing more successful stars like MJF of steroid use to insulting Vince McMahon's 101-year-old mother mere days after her death, Ryback's online profile is truly unique to him. One of the biggest claims on Ryback's Twitter has been that the WWE has spent years illegally suppressing his account, and now the big guy has turned to the man in charge. In a tweet, Ryback tagged Elon Musk and asked for his help, claiming that his account has been severely limited in the 6.5 years since leaving WWE. Ryback, ever the humble soul, called himself one of the most followed pro wrestlers on the planet, though given that he hasn't wrestled in over 6 years, it may be a stretch to call himself one of the most followed or even an active pro wrestler at this point. Ryback has claimed that WWE are behind a significant drop in user engagement in his tweets, never stopping to reflect that perhaps fans just simply aren't interested in his consistently negative tweets. And are you one of Ryback's followers? And what do you make to Ryback's claims of alleged suppression? If you look at WWE's trademark filings, you can usually get a good idea of the company's future plans, as they will file for ownership for terms long in advance before they reach TV. WWE always seeks ownership on terms they use on TV, and now the company has confirmed plans for a new match stipulation. On February 23rd, WWE filed ownership for several pre-existing stipulations, including the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and Elimination Chamber, and also filed for the term Jailhouse Street Fight. The Jailhouse Street Fight is a new match type that will be used at NXT Roadblock in a few weeks, as Tony D'Angelo recently challenged Dijak to the bout. It's unclear whether it's just a street fight with a different name or if there'll be special weapons used during it, but we know for certain that WWE has plans for this match after this week's filing. And we're ending today with Ronda Rousey, who recently had some choice words for WWE's women's division. As we recently reported, Rousey tweeted about the lack of female tag teams and the sporadic title defenses from Damage Control, and now one member of that faction has fired back. In a tweet of her own, Bayley insisted that if Rousey were going to insult Damage Control, then she should at least spell their name correctly, as she had spelled Damage Control's name CNTRL. Bayley then took a swipe at Rousey's more relaxed WWE schedule, saying that the UFC legend should show up to some live events and watch the champions defend their gold each week. With comments like these, it certainly seems like Rousey and Shayna Baszler will be challenging Damage Control at WrestleMania in what will likely be Ronda's first taste of tag team gold in WWE.